Humanity has always sought to explain the world. Across millennia, early societies worshipped many gods, reflecting natural forces, social structures, and political authority. Yet, somewhere in this complex religious landscape, the idea of worshipping a single, all-encompassing deity emerged. In this video, we explore monotheism from a secular, historical perspective, tracing its development through archaeology, ancient texts, and the evolution of human societies. The first civilization, Sumer in Mesopotamia, ancient Egypt, the Indus Valley, relied on polytheistic systems. Gods represented rivers, storms, fertility, or war, and rituals often served social and political functions as much as spiritual ones. Interestingly, archaeological evidence shows periods when certain deities were temporarily elevated above others. For example, the 14th century BCE pharaoh Akhenaten promoted Aten, the sun disk, over other Egyptian gods. While the attempt was short-lived, it illustrates that the concept of a supreme deity was conceivable even within polytheistic frameworks. In the Levant, the ancient Israelites began to emphasize a single deity during the first millennium BCE. Archaeologists and historians note that early Israelite religion likely started with a mix of local gods. Over time, evidence from inscriptions and texts suggests a shift toward exclusive worship of Yahweh. This transition did not happen overnight. It was gradual, influenced by social cohesion, political pressures, and interactions with neighboring cultures. A major catalyst for this development was the Babylonian exile in the 6th century BCE, when many Israelites were forcibly relocated to Babylon after the conquest of Judah. During this period, the trauma of displacement, loss of the temple, and the need to preserve identity in a foreign land encouraged a stronger emphasis on Yahweh as the sole God. Monotheism, in this context, may have functioned as a tool to unify communities and legitimize centralized authority, rather than purely a spiritual revelation. Other cultures also developed concepts of singular divine authority. Zoroastrianism in Persia, emerging around the 6th century BCE, centered on Ahura Mazda as the primary god in a dualistic moral framework. While not strictly monotheistic in all practices, this system emphasized a supreme, rational deity contrasted with the forces of chaos. In South Asia, philosophical strands within Vedic religion and early Upanishadic thought explored Brahman, an ultimate, universal principle behind multiple gods. These ideas show that human thought was capable of abstracting divine authority into a single, conceptual principle, even within polytheistic traditions. Historians argue that monotheism often emerged alongside complex societies, urbanization, and state formation. A single god could legitimize centralized power, standardize law, and foster social cohesion. For instance, the spread of early Israelite monotheism coincided with periods of political consolidation and interaction with larger empires like Assyria and Babylon. Similarly, the later adoption of monotheistic systems in Rome and Persia often reflected both spiritual and practical concerns. Centralizing religious authority made governance more cohesive and helped rulers justify their power through divine sanction. Monotheism, in many cases, was both a cultural and political innovation. The concept of a single deity spread and transformed through trade, conquest, and cultural exchange. Texts, rituals, and ideas moved along the Mediterranean, Near East, and beyond, influencing subsequent religious systems. This diffusion shows that monotheism was not just a theological development. It was an adaptive social strategy. Secular historians also note that monotheism allowed for codification of ethical and legal norms, which could extend across large, diverse populations. A single, universal authority, divine or conceptual, helped societies manage complexity as civilizations grew.